You're welcome to today's session. My name is Akinwale Akindia. I'll be speaking today on ISO 42001 implementation and audit with an emphasis for the banking industry. ISO 42001 is a new international standard uh, that have just gone live and is currently one of the most important reference, right, in the words of the artificial intelligence today, as we are speaking. Of course, this is a new area globally, and when it comes to the regulatory framework, is gradually emerging. Okay, especially now that we have the European Union AI Act, and other nations too are gradually coming up with their own versions of laws and regulations to manage the adoption of AI in specific industries and generally. All right, so let's see how AI applications are running in the banking industry. All right, core AI applications in banking. Uh, we see a lot of AI applications in fraud detection and anti-money laundering. All right, they actually have been auditing or monitoring transactions online real time. All right, based on the rules. All right, the AML rules that are set by uh, the departments that are relevant in the bank. So they help us to flag suspicious activities, transactions, based on risky logins. What is risky login? So you have risky login in AWS and Microsoft Azure, such that you can actually determine logins that may be successful, but they may raise, suspicions. For example, login at unusual times. For example, right, login with unusual uh, tablet or device, and so on, can actually raise flags. All right, so unusual locations, transactions that are above, all right, the reporting threshold or slightly below the reporting threshold, all right, can be an indication that something is wrong. So we can use AI, all right, in anti-money laundering monitoring tools. All right, so if you see for example, in Nigeria, we have the CBN baseline standards for automated anti-money laundering, combating the financing of terrorism, and counter-proliferation financing solutions. So in Nigeria today now, the central bank has approved more or less like a standard for anti-money laundering software. Right? So you can't just buy any tool for anti-money laundering compliance in Nigerian financial system of today. The requirements are clearly stated. I've gone through that baseline standard. If you look at section 4.5, subsection 3, section 4.7, subsection 4 and 5, all right, section 4.8, subsection 3 of that baseline standard, we actually see the references to artificial intelligence, all right, there. All right, so also MasterCard uses AI-powered decision intelligence that scores card transaction in real time. All right, and that is actually helping us globally to prevent frauds. All right, JP Morgan Chase uses AI and machine learning to detect payment fraud and account takeover and suspicious transactions. So these has actually been a very great application of AI in the banking industry. How does AI detect fraud? Banks typically combine several AI techniques like machine learning, all right, which learns from historical fraud cases. All right, so if it has happened before, it has happened, it can happen again. So in the historical fraud cases are used as training data. All right, so training data is basically what you use to train the model, all right, for the for the machine. All right. It also predicts whether a transaction is legitimate or fraudulent based on rules. All right. That are defined for it. So based on rules that are defined for it, all right, if the transaction, all right, is originating from a location that is, within or outside a particular kilometer range from the normal transaction uh, locations, all right, historically, it could be a red flag, right? It could be a red flag, all right? If the transaction is spending, all right, if the spending pattern is different, all right, markedly different from the history of that individual financial history of the customer, then the system can flag it. All right. There is also behavioral analytics. It also learn from each customer normal behavior. Like example, I just give spending pattern, for example, the system can be tracking it. All right. It can flag unusual activities such as transactions from a new country. All right. Sudden high value transfers, which may be unusual, purchase it at unusual hours. So the system could be like tracking the spending pattern. Maybe the guy normally spend between, let's say, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And suddenly, 2 a.m. somebody is trying to use the card, all right, or use the account, all right. Multiple failed login attempts, all right. So this could be red flags, all right, that artificial intelligence can pick in the banking industry. All right. We also have anomaly detection. All right. I first heard the word anomaly, I think in physics class, right? Anomalous behavior of water. All right. Science students will remember that. So anomaly means, deviation, unusual, all right? Deviation from the normal. AI can detect transactions that differ significantly from historical patterns. Then you have graph analytics, identify networks of related fraudulent accounts. So this is very important, especially when you want to in anti-money laundering, initiatives. You want to know, uh, for example, mule account detection. Now, for those of us that have been new in money laundering studies or career, so a mule account is basically an account that is used to uh, carry money or distribute money on behalf of a money launderer. All right. So the guy, maybe he has $1 million, all right, to to move. Of course, you can't go to the bank and say I want to deposit $1 million cash. All right. So from $10,000 upwards, it raises a flag. So what do you do? All right. So they can share 9,500. All right. To all right, hundreds of people. All right. So different branches. All right, and for them to move. Now, manually is not possible for a human being to pick that, all right, when 9,500 is being, all right, deposited nationwide in branches or no, uh, thousands or hundreds of miles apart. But AI too can pick that, all right, through graph analytics, all right, because it can plot a graph and see what is happening here, all right. 9.5, all right, in Sokoto, all right, 9.5 in Lagos, 9.5 in Warri, 9.5, right? So it can raise us, we can bring everything together and notice that there's a dynamism, all right, around those transactions. All right. So what about natural language processing? It can analyze email, all right, which can help us. We may are detecting things like spam, phishing attack, all right. Can analyze chat messages, customer complaints, all right, for signs of scams or social engineering. All right. So banks must address what is called explainability of AI decisions for regulators. So if you say this is not, a scam, or this is not, a transaction that can be classified as money laundering, and you're telling us that your AI system did not see it as money laundering, all right, and Regulators are saying, no, clearly, all right, this looks like money laundering to us. Then you better be ready to explain the rationale with which your AI system made that decision. That's what this is saying. And it's a serious concern in AI. And that's what they call black box, all right, in artificial intelligence. So the black box is that, AI is making decisions and you can't explain it. All right. So you just take it, all right, at the surface. AI made that decision. All right. You don't want that to happen. All right. Especially in the banking industry. All right. The banks must also be ready to address privacy and data protection requirement. It is a big deal. It is a big deal globally. If we go to GDPR, right, penalties, there's a site like that I stumbled upon some time ago that tracks, all right, GDPR fines globally. Have noticed an update to that site now, all right, that now you now see supervisory authorities are now, all right, fining, all right, AI companies, all right. There is a particular AI company that was fined recently, I think about 30 million euros, all right, for uh taking pictures, biometric data of citizens, all right, while they're on the road. So you're just driving past. You didn't know that there's any device capturing your face. All right, and that's what they did, and they use the data to, all right, build their AI model. All right, and now the government uh, has actually uh, penalized them for that. And we're also hearing that the regulators are saying that even the consumers of that AI products, all right, might also likely face the wrath of the law, all right, for not asking questions on the legality of the training data, all right, that was used. All right, so privacy and data protection is a we have not had the last of it, all right, when it comes to the use of AI. All right, there's also model bias and fairness. All right, so to an extent, AI machine learning is garbage in, garbage out, really. So if the people that trained or gather the training data, all right, are biased to an extent, most likely than not, the output of the model is also going to be biased. So you want to ensure that fairness principle is respected in the deployment and use of the AI. They also should be concerned about adversarial attacks designed to evade AI, then continuous model monitoring and retraining as fraud patterns change. We'll talk more about what we call AI model shift. It's a big issue. So you can have an AI system based on the training data, all right? It is okay maybe as an early 2006. All right, maybe by early to 2027, you may discover that, all right, things have changed. All right, maybe things, regulatory requirements, all right, things like uh, the complexity of attacks, change in the external environment, change in technologies, and so on. All right, changing even customer demands and so on may have render an AI model obsolete. So that's what is called model drift. So that's why there's a need for training and retraining of an AI system being used in the banking industry. All right. So we also have conversational AI and chatbots. So this is a big deal in Nigeria banking space and globally, even outside banking. So like Access Bank has they have Tamara, Zenith Bank has Ziva, UBA has Leo, and virtually all the banks has one AI assistant or the other they are using. Okay, so AI chatbots have come to stay. So we now have banking chatbots that can understand conversational English, can recognize Nigerian expressions, like pidgin English, for example, can remember previous conversations, can recommend banking products for the customer, can detect customer emotions, all right, maybe frustration, anger, all right, or elation, all right, satisfaction and so on. We have banking chatbots that can escalate uh, concerns to human agents, that can authenticate the customers, that can support multilingual conversations. Like in Nigeria, we have, major languages, Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. We now have banks trying to reach, all right, customers in their local dialects. All right. Risk and challenges. Cybersecurity is a big deal when it comes to these chatbots. There could be phishing through fake chatbots. So if a customer is not aware, they can actually be, social engineering. They can actually be, chatting with a fake or an adversarial chatbot. There's possibility for account takeover through those phishing attacks. That could be social engineering and that could be API attacks, all right, through the chatbots. Okay. Privacy is also a big deal, like I've mentioned. Banks must comply with the General Data Protection Act. NDPA, if you're in the EU, you are looking at the GDPR, right? General Data Protection Regulation. All right. CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria Cybersecurity and Consumer Protection Requirements, PCI DSS. All right. We have payment card data is involved. So privacy is a big deal. All right. Like I was sharing in the training recently, I was telling them that, this issue of, all right, AI misuse when it comes to privacy will be a serious area of concern for banks in Nigeria within the next 5 years. Now that we have regulators that are very serious about privacy, all right. So especially you have the Nigeria Data Protection Commission. They are doing a lot to ensure that financial institutions and other institutions, they do the right thing when it comes to respecting privacy of data subjects. All right, we also have AI risk, hallucinated or inaccurate responses. All right, so you're asking for A, the chatbot is telling you Z. All right, it is quite possible. All right, wrong responses. So there could be bias in their recommendations, like I said before. All right, the quality of the training data is a factor here. Poor intent recognition. So the AI is not able to pick exactly what you're trying to ask about. That is also possible. Then you have prompt injection attacks. So the cybersecurity guys will understand this. All right. So because during when you are chatting with AI, it gives you an opportunity to actually drop some comments, queries. Now, a skilled programmer, all right, can actually write an SQL code or a Python code that can actually be adversarial in nature. All right. So that is what they mean by prompt injection attacks. So that is also a possibility when you are using chatbots in the banking industry or in any industry per se. You have data leakage risk, the model drift. I've talked about model drift before. The model can become outdated based on internal and external changes. All right. So governance and controls, banks need to implement human oversight for high-risk transactions. Like I've mentioned, there is possibility for black box. All right. For high-risk transactions, you don't want to take that risk. So there must be human oversight and sometimes human override. All right. If you are not convinced that the AI has made the right decision. So there should be multi-factor authentication. There should be end-to-end encryption. There should be role-based access control. You know that. So people should only have access to the systems, the data, all right, and tools they need for their operations and job functions. All right. There should be an AI model monitoring, like I've said, because of the risk of model drift. There should be audit logging. All right. I realize that now that even um, most AI, generative AI now require you to log in. All right, they require you to log in so before you start writing your queries. All right, they are tracking what you are using the AI, generative AI for. All right, explainability for critical decision. I'm talking about that. Secure API gateways, continuous security testing, periodic AI risk assessment. So this is a key requirement as we'll see even in ISO 42001. All right. So they also use AI in automated credit underwriting. So this is now a big deal right in Nigeria. So we have a lot of fintech apps that are now, all right. You don't need to go to the bank, bring in your collateral and bring a land, bring a deed of a house. So all that now, we see a lot of digital lenders, all right, in Nigeria today and globally also. And basically what they rely upon is data to make decisions, all right, whether the person is credit worthy or how much should be lent to that person. And where did they get the data from? What kind of data do they use to make this decision? Credit bureau reports, all right, are used, BVN verification. So every banking customer in Nigeria, for example, has a reference number, a reference ID called BVN, bank verification number, bank account history, employment information, salary records, all right, and the other data like mobile money transactions, all right, with POS machine transactions, utility payments, e-commerce purchases, airtime usage, all right, savings behavior, digital wallet activities, all right, device characteristics, location consistency, how long does the person stay in a particular area, all right, repayment history from previous digital loans. So with open banking now, great. So with open banking, all this information are now very, very possible for a fintech or a bank to actually have access to. Okay. So when they gather all those data, all the data we stated earlier, so it boils down to this to get the risk score, all right? So if the risk score is between 850 to 1,000, wow, this guy is good to go. Give him the loan. Instant approval of the loan, 700 to 849 approval, 600 to 699. They need to check again. All right. Below 600, they decline. Note that this table is not, it's not sacrosanct. All right. So adjustments are made here and there by each fintech, by each bank to determine, all right, what is best, best, all right, for them to use. All right. Um, Challenges of this digital lending using AI in Nigeria. Limited credit history. Many individuals remain credit invisible. All right. So that is changing. Informal economy, that is still with us. A lot of businesses are occurring outside traditional banking. Data quality is also a challenge. Incomplete or inconsistent customer information can reduce model accuracy. Then you have model bias. Like we said, poorly designed models may disadvantage certain customer groups. So some people can just be denied credit, whereas they're supposed to obtain credit just because that either the data it does not have quality or the model is not properly designed. Explainability. Banks must also be able to explain why a loan was approved or declined, especially for regulatory and audit purposes, and also for displeased or angry customers, as the case may be. Cybersecurity is also another concern. Automated system must be protected against fraud, data breaches, and adversarial attacks. Regulatory considerations in not this. An automated underwriting solution in Nigeria should align with CBN guidance on digital lending and risk management. Nigeria Data Protection Act, all right, in Europe, GDPR, all right, consumer protection requirements, credit bureau regulations, EML, CFT obligations, KYC requirements. So institutions, bank institutions should also establish governance around model validation, monitoring, auditors, and human oversight. All right, best practice governance framework for banks. Banks implementing automated credit underwriting, all right, should have a robust governance framework, which includes data governance, leadership over data quality management, model development, independent validation, all right, especially before you launch the model, and periodic calibration because of model drifts, like I've said. Human oversight for borderline or high-value applications. Explainable AI techniques to justify decisions. All right, so you are minimizing black box, like I've said earlier. Continuous monitoring for model drifts, bias, and fairness. Comprehensive audit logs and decision traceability. Compliance with CBN regulations, NDPA, AML, CFT, and consumer protection requirements. Strong cybersecurity controls to protect customer data and underwriting systems. These are very important for banks to practically consider when adopting AI. All right, AI is also used in algorithmic trading and investments. So this means that you are using computer algorithms to automatically execute buy or sell orders, all right, based on predefined rules such as price movements, trading volume, time intervals, market volatility, statistical arbitrage, machine learning prediction, news sentiment analysis. So you are, instead of human traders making every decisions, the AI algorithm identify opportunities and execute trade within milliseconds. All right, so we know trading, all right, is basically, so this is a treasury function. All right, so you have tools like ABIA, all right, being finding a lot of use in this field, all right. And the trading is basically information centric, all right. And so instead of searching for those relevant trading information manually, an AI tool can do that for you. AI applications in investment banking. So we have smart portfolio management, right? So you know the optimal mix of investment through the use of AI. All right. So so the AI can analyze historical market data, all right, Nigeria Stock Exchange, market performance, global economic indicators, exchange rates, interest rates, inflation, customer risk profile, and so on to decide the optimal investment portfolio. All right, robo advisory services. Robo is from the word robots. All right, so it's automated. So customers can actually, instead of talking to a financial advisor, you can actually have like a self-service where the user can actually consult uh, an AI system to get investment advice. So AI determines risk tolerance, investment horizon, liquidity needs, income level. Okay, so this can also, of course, kind of lessen the burden, all right, on the banks, in which that you can actually have an AI service that your customers can log into, and they have the advice, the trading or investment advice they need. All right, treasury trading, banks can use algorithm to trade forex, treasury bills, bonds, commercial papers, money market instruments. The algorithm can monitor exchange rates, yield curves. Yield curves basically, for traders is a plot of yield, all right, against maturity dates, all right, for different bonds. That's what they mean by yield curves. Central bank interventions can be monitored, market liquidity can be monitored. All right. AI is also used in foreign exchange optimization for banks. All right. AI can predict, all right, naira depreciation or appreciation, USD demand, import payment trends, oil price effects, global market shocks, which allow Treasury Department to hedge foreign exchange exposure more effectively. Okay, great. So key risk in using the AI, in trading for banks, there's model risk. If the model is wrong, all right, or the trading data is wrong, that's a big problem, all right. Incorrect trading decisions can be made. Then you have market risk, right? Unexpected event may invalidate model assumptions, all right. If you have read about the story of the trader that sank um, Britain's oldest bank. All right. If you remember that story, all right, it was an unexpected um, earthquake. that scattered all its permutations, which at the end of the day, the trading losses end up bringing down the bank. All right, so unexpected events may invalidate model assumptions. Liquidity risk. Algorithms may struggle to execute large rates in less liquid markets. There is cybersecurity risk also. Trading system may be vulnerable to cyber attacks. There is operational risk, all right, system failures, connectivity issues, internet disruptions, all right, and so on. Then there's regulatory risk. Banks must comply with evolving CBN and SEC requirements, market conduct rules, and risk management expectations. Then, of course, AI bias is there. Training data may produce biased or unreliable investment recommendations. So governance and risk control, in the use of AI for trading, there must be AI governance policy, as we soon see in ISO 42001, all right, plus 5. Model validation and independent review, all right. Risk appetite for algorithm trading, all right. So we need to have a policy on this, very, very important, all right. So for forex trader, you know what they call stop loss, for example, all right. That is the maximum loss you have a risk appetite for. All that need to be, built into the procedure for trading. All right. And the AI to use for trading it to understand such a procedure. So there should be board oversight. There should be human approval for value transactions. There should be real-time trade surveillance. There should be key switch for emergency shutdown, like the one I just mentioned, the stop loss. All right. There should be stress testing for worst case scenario. All right. Periodic model retraining, independent internal audit reviews. All these will help us to ensure that AI use for trading, all right, is optimized. Then, of course, AI applications are also needed in risk management and regulatory compliance. I've talked about, what the Central Bank of Nigeria just published on AI solutions. So it is a very interesting publication. I really recommend you get your hand on that CBN standard for anti-money laundering solutions. All right, so it's a big deal. Now AI is a big deal in anti-money laundering solutions. The AI tools can help us to detect suspicious activities by monitoring transactions, identifying unusual patterns. All right, so the guy has, last year, the guy has a turnover of 10, maybe, yes, $10,000. All right, then this year, all right, then suddenly the guy has a turnover of $100,000. So we should ask questions. All right. I remember the Bangladesh, heist. That was one of the accounts that they used to be credited. That account, was has zero balance, all right, for more than a year. Has zero balance for more than a year. Then suddenly you have, all right, a huge sum of money hitting the account. You should be perplexed and ask more questions. All right. Detecting layering, all right, the intentions to hide, all right, the source of the money, all right, recognizing mule accounts. All right, I've talked about mule accounts earlier. Discovering ED relationships. All right, and AI can help us, all right, in working out on this. Then, of course, we need AI in KYC, know your customer. So this is very, very important. I remember at a time that one account officer was sharing how a customer walked in and opened an account, not knowing that the account was opened to receive deposits of crime, and it's really caused a problem, all right, for the bank. Before the case was resolved. So AI can automate customer identification, identity verification, facial recognition, document verification, customer risk scoring, all right, periodic know your customer reviews. And of course, AI is needed in customer due diligence. AI can help you to identify politically exposed persons, which is a big deal in anti-money laundering laws globally. AI can help you identify sanction individuals That is, individuals that have already appeared in one sanction list or the other, high-risk customers, beneficial owners, adverse media. All right, that is customers that bring, adverse attention to the bank or the financial institutions. All right. AI can also help us in regulatory reporting. AI can automate preparation of reports required by regulators, like prudential reports, all right, to banks, to the central bank, capital adequacy reports, liquidity reports, AML reports, fraud reports, consumer protection reports, and so on. So AI can help us, all right, with this. Then AI can is also very important for stress testing, all right, worst conditions scenario testing, all right. You can use AI to model, all right, worst case economic downturns, all right, worst case exchange rate shocks, worst case oil price fluctuations, all right, worst case interest rate fluctuations, pandemic scenarios like the one we had in 2020, political instability. So banks can now simulate thousands of scenarios much faster than traditional models, all right, by using AI. So regulatory considerations in Nigeria, CBN risk-based cybersecurity framework is key. CBN consumer protection framework is key. CBN guidelines on EML, CFT, is key. And the Data Protection Act is key. All right, NFIU, anti-money laundering reporting requirement, all right, is important. Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention Act is important. CBN operational resilience and risk management expectations we are applicable. All right. So depending on the country where you are listening to this video, this training, all right. Every country have their relevant banking or sector related laws relating to artificial intelligence. All right. So recommendations for banks in Nigeria and of course globally, you can adapt it to, all right, your own geographical space. Develop an enterprise AI governance framework with clear accountability. Establish AI model risk management and independent validation processes. Integrate AI into enterprise risk management rather than isolated business functions. Implement continuous AI-enabled monitoring for compliance, fraud, cybersecurity, and operational risk. Ensure compliance with CBN regulations, NDP requirements, and international standards. Invest in high-quality data governance, including data quality, lineage, and stewardship. Upskill your risk, compliance, audit, and IT teams in AI literacy and governance. Conduct regular AI ethics, fairness, and explainability assessments. Use human oversight for high-impact decisions. We keep on emphasizing that, such as credit approvals and suspicious activity investigations. Continuously review AI models for performance, bias, and regulatory compliance. Okay, so that's that. With AI applications relating to the banking industry, I hope you are able to pick some key points from that. Okay, now, so let's look at the standard of the moment, ISO IEC 42001-2023. All right, so the ISO is International Organization for Standardization. All right, so the 2023, all right, is the year it was published. All right, this standard was published in 2023. All right, how time flies. Most standards are reviewed within, around like 5 years, 5 to 7 years. So if you add 5 to 2023, all right, 2028, all right, these standards, they will start considering, all right, reviewing it to know whether it's needed, there's a need to upgrade it. So as for 2001, 2023 is the world's first international standard for artificial intelligence management system. It provides requirements. Look at that one, requirements. All right, so requirement means, all right, is a standard that can be a business entity can be certified against. So like I always say, you have requirement standard, then you have the guideline or guidance standard. The requirement standard are standard that if you are holding it, all right, you will be seeing the verb shall, an organization shall, an organization shall. That's how you will know you are holding a requirement standard. How will you know you are holding a guidance standard, which is a supporting standard? You will be saying an organization should. So they use the verb should for a for a guidance standard. All right. So for example, ISO 31000 is a guidance standard of risk management. ISO 27002 is a guidance standard on how to implement the Annex A of ISO 7001. All right. So requirement standard ISO 42001, ISO 7001, ISO 22301, ISO 20000 part 1, ISO 14001, ISO 55001, ISO 50001. In fact, most of them ended with one. I don't know. All right, not all anyway, but most actually ended with one. So I'm sure the technical committees are responsible for naming those standards, all right, and they have their reason. All right, so ISO 42001 also ended with one. So ISO 42001 helps organizations to govern AI responsibly, all right, added to help organizations to identify and manage AI-related risks, to ensure transparency, accountability, and human oversight, to comply with emerging AI regulations such as the EU AI Act, and also help businesses to build trust with customers, regulators, and stakeholders. Who should implement these standards? All right, the standard is applicable to any organization that develop AI systems, that use AI internally. All right, so many banks are using copilots, all right, predictive analytics, generative AI. Uh, any organization that provides AI-enabled product or services, so it applies regardless of organization size or industry, as we'll see. That is clause one of the standard scope. All right. So the structure of the standard is like this. So you have the part one, which is clause 4 to 10. Then part two, 38 controls and implementation guidance. All right. So it's the good thing is that the standard follows the usual, all right, structure that most ISO standard follow. So that is clause 1 to clause 10. Clause 1, all right, is scope. Clause 2 is normative reference. Clause 3 is terms and definitions. We don't implement that, right? We don't implement, we don't audit clause 1, 2, and 3. So implementation and audit start from clause 4 to 10. All right, then we have the Annex A. All right, just like we have in ISO 27001, which also have Annex A, all right, which is implementable. So Annex A of 27 or 42001 is also normative, it's also implementable. All right, so let's look at the clause by clause explanation. All right, we are looking at it from both implementation and audit perspectives. So like I said, it is a requirement standard, which means if you pick the standard, you'll be seeing an organization chart. So it's very similar to ISO 9001 on quality, ISO 27001 on ISMS, Information Security Management System, ISO 2301 on business continuity management system. So which makes it easier for you to integrate, especially to other standard or else other management systems if you already have these management systems in existence. Great. So let's look at it. So like I've said, clause 1 to 3 is introduction. So clause 1 is scope. We don't implement clause 1, we don't audit clause 1. All right. What it simply says is that the organization shall establish, implement, maintain, continually improve an AI management system. All right, regardless of its size. So it applies to organization of all sizes. All right, covers AI system developed internally or maybe acquired from third parties, from vendors. The standard is applicable to both public and private organization, all right, includes AI design, development, deployment, operation, monitoring, and retirement. So there's no organization that cannot use this standard. That's what clause 1 is saying. Don't forget, it's not implementable, it is not auditable. Clause 2 is normative reference. All right. So normative reference is basically okay for you to understand ISO 42001 better. All right. Is there any other material you can check for better understanding? All right. So so here now they are recommending IEC 22989, which is actually AI concepts and terminologies. All right. So it made a lot of sense. So if you want to be familiar with, all right, concepts, terminologies that can help you better appreciate ISO 42001, check out ISO 22989 2022. All right, so it's an IT information technology standard. That's why they started, the nomenclature. That's why they started with information technology. All right, so take note of that. It's not implementable, it's not auditable, right? It's just for introductional purpose. The class three is terms and definitions. So if you look at the standard itself, all right, it's listed some AI concepts, AI terms, and defines it for us. All right. So it's actually defined, made some definitions to make our life easier. So terms and definitions, clause three, is not implementable, it's not auditable. So clause 1 to 3, we can't implement them, we can't audit them. Now, so clause 4 is where the standard really starts for implementers and auditor. So, all right. So clause 4, context of the organization. 4.1, understanding the organization and its context. What does that mean? So before you implement an AI management system, you need to understand, all right, the organization and the universe in which it operates. All right. So an AI system, so a company like a Google, for example, all right, the use of AI, right, in Google will definitely be different from the use of AI in a bank. All right, a bank probably will be a consumer of AI products, while Google is most likely to be a producer of AI products. Do you understand? So we need to understand the context of the organization where we are operating. All right. And that will determine the risk. Like I always say in risk management classes, your risks are going to come from the environment. All right. So the idea of clause 4 is actually that if you understand, all right, the environment of the organization, all right, you will be in a better position to know the risks, all right, that that organization will face. I've discovered that most of these standards are actually risk management standards, all right. Most of them, look at 27,001. It is meant to manage, all right, information and cybersecurity risk. Look at 27701. It's meant to manage privacy risk. All right, 22301 is meant to manage business continuity risk. All right. Even this AI management system, all right, this of 42,001 is meant to manage risks that may emanate from the use of AI. So we need to understand internal issues in that organization, internal users. For example, there's what they call shadow AI. There are so many organizations now, all right, that they're already using AI, but it's not official, all right. Everybody's using AI for official job, all right, without declaring it, all right, without declaring it. So you are meant to generate a report, you use AI to generate it. All right, you are meant to analyze and official information, you key that official information, even though it's classified, you key it into a generative AI tool. That information now is not public. It's now in the database of the AI model, which might likely or I spring up anywhere in the world. These are exposures for the organization. All right. So internal issues, maturity of AI use in the organization, all right, is internal. All right, competency, skills, all right, adequacy of employees in the organization is internal, and so on. So what are the internal issues? What are the external issues? All right, what about the business strategy, the mission, the vision, the goals of the organization, AI maturity level, regulatory environment, all right, ethical considerations, all right, culture, traditions, all right, societal expectations, all right, technological landscape, all right, level of competition. What are your competition using AI for? All right, so all this needs to be captured. All these need to be taken. I don't want to use the word documented, even though you will document it. My concern in ISO implementation a lot is that there is too much emphasis on documentation, but you must document it, all right? But the essence of document it is that they become like a basis. They become a tool you will now use to manage risk in the organization, to optimize operations for the organization. All right. So we need to know what the internal issues are. We need to know what the external issues are. So, for example, a Nigerian bank implementing AI for fraud detection should consider internal issues like data quality. Remember, it's garbage in, garbage out. If the data is not good enough, the AI is going to misbehave. All right. So, staff competence, existing governance. All right. Those are internal issues. They are looking at external issues like CBN regulations, laws of the country like NDPA, customer expectations, all right, and cyber threats, all right. So those are examples of internal and external issues, all right, for 4.1. So 4.1 is saying before you start the implementation, first make sure you can demonstrate your understanding of the internal environment and the external environment of the organization. All right. Then in some environments, all right, you can use maybe tools like Pesto. All right. You can use tools like Pesto to implement your 4.1, to describe the political environment, the economic environment, the social environment, technological environment, the environmental climatic pressure, all right, the legal environment, all right. You can use SWOT analysis. What are the strengths of the business? What are the weaknesses of the business? All right. What are the opportunities that AI has presented that the organization can make use of? What are the threats, all right, that can emerge from the use and adoption of AI in that organization? All right. So all these can be, there are many frameworks and techniques you can actually use to address your understanding, all right, to document your understanding of the organization and the environment in which it is working. All right, fine. So 4.2 now is talking about understanding the needs and expectations of interested parties. So interested parties determines what is risky, what is not, what is acceptable, what is not. So we need to know the interested parties to the organization's adoption of AI. So parties like customers, regulators, shareholders, employees, AI vendors, all right, AI developers, the society at large, all right, government agencies. So they have a say, right? So an institution, an organization is not existing in a vacuum. All right. So you need to know, all right. Look at, for example, I'm talking about GDPR, all right. A lot of organizations are now being fined in the EU for violating GDPR through their AI operations. And a lot of time, it's not just that the regulators or the supervisory authorities just stumble on the information. Somebody reported, somebody under this 4.2, shareholders, employees, customers, somebody in the society are the ones that will go and report. So you need to be able to ensure you really know who are the stakeholders to your implementation of AI management system. This is very, very important. It's very important in risk management. And as I said, it goes beyond documenting. All right. Yes, you are going to document this 4.2 where you are implementing, and when you are auditing, you're going to audit whether they have captured all right this take. But it goes beyond just filing, all right, this document, filing documentations. You need to be able to apply your knowledge of these stakeholders and their expectations, all right, uh, in your AI management system. Because believe you me, a lot of your risks, AI risks, are going to come from these guys, all right, in clause 4.2. All right. Clause 4.3 is talking about the scope of the AI management system. 4.3. So we need to know the applicability. We need to know the boundary of the AI management system. So are we implementing for just the head office? All right. Are we implementing for just the head office? Or are we implementing for just the data center? Or are we implementing for just IT department? So you need to create a statement of scope. All right. Is the AI management system covering you and your business partners or key vendors? All right. So we need to know business units covered. We need to know AI system covered. We need to know geographical locations covered. We need to know whether some AI providers or AI partners are included within your scope. Don't forget that the scope of the AI management system will determine the audit scope. All right. So the audit scope cannot extend beyond the scope of the AI management system. That's why you have to be very careful about the wordings of the scope of the AI management system. Note that the scope of the AI management system must exist as a documented, all right, information. All right. It must be that must so it's one of the required documentations for your AI management system, and auditors must check it. All right. 4.4 is AI management system. Now, this clause 4.4 it talks about, all right, that the AI management system must be established, all right, must be implemented, must be maintained, all right, must be continually improved. That's what the standard says. Now, if you really want to understand 4.4, you cannot implement 4.4 or audit 4.4 until every other thing is done. All right. So it's not like, it's not like, you have a house, you build a house, all right? So you want to see, oh, if I press a switch, all right, the switch will trigger all the lights in the house, all right, or the lights on the floor, all right, to come up. The bulb will come up, all right? Or if I press a remote, I can open the door, all right? So we're talking about the processes in the AI management system, how they interlink, how they trigger one another, how they are dependent on one another. Look at the example I gave the other time. So your clause 4. If clause 4 is done correctly, context of the organization is going to have serious impact on your clause 5.2, your policies. All right, because your policy, your AI policy is responding to the environment. All right. Policies are meant to manage risk. So your AI policy must be an output of your clause 4.2 and 4.2 and 4.3. All right. Your clause 4, if done correctly, should trigger your clause 6.1. All right. Your AI risk assessment and management, and your clause 8 also. All right. So because your risk, like I said, is coming from your clause 4. And clause 6.1, clause 8.2, clause 8.3 is talking about risk assessment and risk treatment. We must see those and shake. All right. Your clause 9.2, internal audits, all right, must be able to trigger your clause 10.1 continual improvements. All right, because that is the essence. So if you do an audit and we cannot see, all right, how it leads to the update of your continual improvement log, then there's a problem with that audit. That means just ceremonial. That's what clause 4.4 is saying. You say we want to see the handshake of processes. All right. And so this one is for you to now sit back and look at, all right, the operations of the AI management system, whether the processes are really, really working or not. That is what clause 4.4 is talking about. So what to see, all right, the policies in actions, the procedures in actions, the controls in actions, governance in actions, performance monitoring, and their outputs and their dependencies. Great. Okay, great. So now we are through talking about clause 4. So as an implementer, all right, as an implementer, you need to be able to answer this question, all right? So as you know, I'm using the banking sector applications, but you can always all right, customize that this to any industry or any organization you are implementing for your auditing. So look at these audit questions, all right, or implementation questions, depending on all right, which side or which cap you're wearing. So as a bank or as an organization that established an AI management system, so it's not yellow, no? Then what is the evidence of that? All right. Is the scope documented? That's plus 4.3, yes or no? Give us the evidence. Are AI systems identified? Yes or no? Give us the evidence. Have interested parties been identified? That's plus 4.2. All right, yes or no? Evidence. Are regulatory obligations identified? Yes or no? All right, evidence. As a bank or organization determine internal and external AI issues, that's 4.1. Yes or no? Evidence. So your job as an implementer is to be able to answer all these questions for your organization. And your job as an auditor is for you to be able to gather evidence that all these are in place. And we say yes. Clause 4 is passed by the organizational field. All right, let's talk about clause 5, leadership. All right, 5.1 talk about leadership and commitment. All right, so top management need to demonstrate leadership by establishing AI governance framework, allocation of resources, all right, promoting responsible AI, supporting ethical use of AI or ethical deployment of AI, integrating AI into business strategy. All right. So this 5.1 is very important. Without it, it will not work. Without leadership, all right. I have been opportune to review audits ISO management systems in several organizations. I have seen factually that as long as the leadership of the organization is not interested, it will not work. It will work. All right. So evidence that the implementers need to present here, all right, minutes of the board on AI, all right, minutes of schools on AI, all right, or committees, all right, AI, relevant AI committees. All right, the minutes are the evidence that they are in existence. All right. Budgets, all right, for the AI management system, steering committee meetings, like I've said, or steering committee charters, uh, governance reports. All these are, they are what ISO 1N01 called objective evidence that, AI is working, AI is being led in that organization. We have what they also call what we call executive support letter, which we expect the leadership of the organization to write and regularly and copy, all right, the whole organization. Right. So if it's coming from the MD or it's coming from the chairman of the board of directors, they are very weighty, and everybody will take it serious. Oh, these guys, they are not playing. All right. 5.1, so that's for 5.1. 5.2 is AI policy. Like I said, your AI policy should be reflective of your plus 4. All right, for your 4.4 to be really sound. All right, so AI policy should include all right, responsible AI principles, all right, ethical commitments, all right, because this AI stuff can lead to a lot of rogue decisions. That's why we said there should be AI oversight. All right, AI oversight. Uh, the AI policy should include compliance obligations of the organization, risk management efforts, all right, or requirements, as the case may be, then continual improvements. So the policy, of course, must be documented, must be approved, preferably by the highest level of management in the organization. It must be communicated evidentially, then it must be reviewed periodically, at least once a year or when there are significant changes. All right, that's 5.2. 5.3 is the roles and responsibilities. All right, roles, responsibility, authority. So that's talking about having your RACI charts for AI. All right, governance and management. Who is responsible? Who is accountable? Who is to be consulted? Who is to be informed? So this is going to differ based on the sector, based on the size of the organization. All right, so we need to know the relevant AI governance committees, AI risk officer, AI owners in the organization, data owners, model owners, compliance officer, internal auditors, all right, AI ethics committee, and any other relevant role, all right, depending on the operations of the business. All right. So 5.1 is, like I said, leadership and commitment. 5.2 is AI policy. 5.3 is organizational rules, responsibility, and authority. All right. So now, as an implementer, you are looking at these questions, and as an auditor, you are looking at this question. All right. As executive management approved the AI policy, that's talking about 5.2, yes or no, give us the evidence. As the board approved the AI governance framework, all right, that's 5.1, yes or no, give us the evidence. All right, as an AI governance committee being established, that's talking about 5.1. Uh, um, Okay, that's 5.1 and also 5.3. All right, also talking about 5.3. AI responsibility assigned, that's because 5.3 also, yes or no. Is accountability documented? All right, who has the overall accountability? That's because 5.3. All right, so yes or no with evidence. So uh, this is the job of the implementers. All right, if you are wearing implementer cap to ensure these questions are answered with evidence. And if you are an auditor, your job is to ensure that, all right, these questions, you get evidence to support these questions, all right? Yeah, to support the answers to these questions, rather. Okay, then clause 6 is planning, all right? Clause 6 is planning, 6.1 is talking about actions to address AI risks and AI opportunities in that organization. So there are a lot of risks, all right? So you need to be able to create a risk register. It is not compulsory that you need to have, a separate register for AI, all right? Depending on the structure of the organization, you can just ensure that your risk register is updated to include, all right, to include AI risks. So such as strategic risk, all right, operational risk, ethical risk, and so on. All right, security risk like prompt injection, we talk about model theft, model drift, data poisoning, privacy risks, and so on. All right, so clause 6.1 is talking about having an AI risk register. All right. And of course, AI opportunity register also. So it's not just threats. There's also positive risk opportunities that adoption of AI can bring for the organization. You can also have a register for that. All right. So 6.2 is talking about AI objectives and the plan to achieve them. So the objective should be measurable. Remember the SMART principle. All right, the objective should be specific, should be measurable, should be attainable, should be reasonable. All right, should be time bound. So you want it to be smart. All right, why are you implementing AI? All right, in the organization, we want to reduce AI incident by 30% by year end. We want to complete bias testing quarterly. We want to achieve 100% model approval by end of year. All right, complete AI awareness training for all staff. All right, by end of year or by end of quarter three. So then, of course, you need to tell us the plan to achieve those objectives. What are you going to do? What task are you doing? Who will be in charge? All right, what resource will be needed? All right, what are the timeline for each of the tasks to achieve the AI objective? You need to be able to create that. All right, 6.3 is talking about your readiness for changes. There will be changes. I talked about model drift the other time. There will be changes, internal changes will occur, external changes will occur. How are you going to handle that? All right. So changes to AI system should be controlled by, for example, retraining models, updating your algorithms, changing data sets, all right, introducing new foundation models. So we need to have, all right, a framework for change management. That's what clause 6.3 is talking about. All right. So the questions there uh, is an AI risk assessment performed? That is for risk assessment clause 6.1. Yes or no with evidence. Are AI risks evaluated? All right. Yes or no with evidence. Are AI opportunities documented? Yes or no with evidence. Are mitigation plans documented? Yes or no with evidence. Are AI objectives established? Yes or no with evidence. And don't forget, all right, the change management is the change management process in place, all right, to manage AI changes, all right, yes or no with evidence, depending on whether you're wearing the implementation cap or you're wearing the auditor cap. Clause 7 is support, all right? Very easy to implement. So far, there's clause 5, right? 5.1, leadership and support, leadership and commitment. All right, so 7.1 is resources. Do we have resources? Do we have the AI budget? Do we have trained personnel? Do we have the AI infrastructure? Do we have AI tools? Do we have monitoring systems? All right, and so on, needed for the AI management system. 7.2 is about the people, the competence. All right, so people, personnel should be competent in AI governance, machine learning, AI ethics, risk management, cybersecurity, data science, AI regulations, all right, and laws. Of course, you have to keep records of training. Those training records are mandatory documents, all right, for the external audits. Clause 7.3 is awareness. Everybody under the control of the organization shall be aware of the AI policy, their responsibility in the AI management systems, all right, and likely fallouts if they did not do their duty. So they should be on, every employee should understand the AI policy, AI risk, AI responsibilities, all right, and the necessity to, if you see something, say something, incident reporting. That is what clause 7.3 is talking about. 7.4 is about internal communications on AI, external communication on AI. So we need to be able to define internal communications mechanisms and external communications mechanisms. All right. All right. Communications to customers, regulators, and vendors. The standard requires you to have a communication plan that will state what you are going to communicate, to whom you are going to communicate, when you are going to communicate, how you are going to communicate, and frequency, timing of the communication. All right, that is clause 7.4. Clause 7.5 is documented information. So they are mandatory documents. All right, we talk about, so okay, first, some of them are already here. So your policy, AI policies, AI procedures, all right, risk assessment reports, your AI inventory, your training records, audit reports, monitoring logs, and so on. So all these documentations are required for you to maintain. All right, look at examples of these documents again. AI policy, all right, uh, scope statements, AI governance framework, AI risk management procedure, AI risk register, AI inventory or register, AI lifecycle management procedure, AI impact assessment procedure, AI incident response procedure, AI chain management procedure. All right, all these data governance policy, model validation procedure, AI supplier management procedure, competency and training records, internal audit procedures, management review records, corrective action register, performance monitoring dashboard. All right, all these are documents that are needed for clause 7. So that's the 7.1 to 7.5 support. So the checklist here, of course, this is not cast in stone. So AI awareness training conducted, yes or no? All right, AI risk training done, yes or no? AI ethics training done, yes or no? AI technical AI training done, yes or no? All right, AI resources provided, all right, yes or no? Note that all this with evidence, all right. AI communication done, internal, external, yes or no, with evidence. All right. A mandatory documents, all right. Another relevant document in order, yes or no. Don't forget that these documents are also expected to be controlled, all right. So they need to have title, they need to have reference ID, they need to have approval, they need to have version control, they need to have classification, all right, and they need to be distributed according to the classification. The audience has to be specified, and of course, they need to be protected, all right, from unauthorized access. All right, so that is clause 7 support, focusing on resources for the implementation. Clause 8 is the do operation. So you have AI 8.1 operational planning and control. So this has to do with processes that you need to set up. So every organization needs to set up AI processes. You need to have AI management system calendar. This is very important. I always emphasize this in AI in my ISO training, implementation and audit training. One of a key ways you would know that a management system is effective in an organization is through the calendar 8.1. If 8.1 is not working, then nothing is working. It's just implementation, it's just basically at the surface. All right. So you need to have a calendar for processes that must be running. All right, for the AI management system. Internal audit, how many times will it be done in a year? All right, quarterly. All right, so we draw a calendar. Quarter one, we expect internal audit. Quarter two, three, and four, internal audit. Management review, all of the AI management system will be done also quarterly. All right, so we have a quarterly calendar for that also. Training will be done. All right, AI related training will be done, determine the frequency. AI awareness will be done, all right, maybe once a quarter or once a month, all right, like that. All right, so all relevant AI management system documentation review, all right, will be done maybe twice in a year or once in a year. We need to have all those processes defined, all right. So implement processes for AI design, AI development, testing, validation, deployment, monitoring, and retirement, and make sure that we stick to it. So somebody must own that calendar. It's very important that somebody owns that calendar to make sure that the processes that we have designed and adopted for the organization to make sure that they are working, they are being maintained, all right, as designed. Okay. The 8.2 is AI risk assessment. So risk assessment basically what can go wrong, all right. What are the threats, all right, to the use or adoption of AI in the organization? We talked about many of them already, all right. So that could be bias, all right, in the training data. That could be hallucinations, all right, wrong output. That could be privacy breaches. That could be security issues, all right. That could be black box, which we talked about, lack of explainability. That could be transparency challenges, all right. The reliability issues, safety issues, all right, can arise. So these are just examples of some of the risks, all right. If you look at the Annex C, I think of the standard, you will see examples of sources of risk also there, all right, that can help us. So 8.3 is talking about the risk treatment. So in 8.2, you identify those risks. All right. In 8.3, you tell us what to do, or rather, you implement controls, all right, to address those risks, such as human review, human oversight that we talk about, model validation, all right. That is, you need to be able to validate that that the model will perform what it's meant to perform. All right, so you have validation data, you have evaluation data, and so on. Approval workflows, all right, throughout the AI lifecycle, explainability tools, security controls, and so on. These are just recommendations, all right, depending on the kind of risk you have determined in the organization, that will help you to determine the risk treatment that are correct. Then, of course, 8.4, AI system impact assessments. All right, globally, it's been discovered now that people are using AI to cheat in exams and to cheat in interview. It's part of the impact. All right, I was hearing that there is one school now that the professor canceled the online exam and told everybody to report in class to come and do the exam. All right, and from abnormally high scores they were getting now. So I think the average score was around 50 something or 60 something when they were in class. All right, so it's part of the way that AI is affecting people. So if you're going to adopt AI in an organization, you're expected to do, all right, an impact assessment. How will this adoption affect people? How will it affect your employees? How will it affect your business partners, your vendors? How will it affect, all right, your customers? How will it affect the immediate society with which you are operating as an organization? So assess impact on individual society, human rights, safety, environment, and business. For example, again, it's also been shown that all these machine learning model training has been consuming, right? A lot of the data centers being used requires a lot of water, a lot of energy, and of course, with all this climatic change and climatic risks, all right, everywhere you can see. So you need to be able to come up with the system impact assessment and recommendations to mitigate, all right, those impacts. That's what 8.4 is talking about. Okay, great. So AI lifecycle controls, all right, implementers need to answer these questions. Auditors need to ensure that there is evidence to support the answers. So is AI lifecycle documented? Is model development controlled? Is model testing performed? Is model approval documented? Is production deployment approved? Is model retirement process defined? So this is for the AI lifecycle controls. All right. Model validation is very important before we go live. Is there independent validation of the model? All right. Yes or no? All right. Is bias testing completed? All right. Is accuracy testing completed? Is drift monitoring implemented? Is externability tested? Yes or no with evidence? All right. Third party AI. Is vendor due diligence completed? All right. Is AI contracts signed? Is security assessment completed, yes or no? Is privacy assessment completed, yes or no? Is there exit strategy? All right, is exit strategy documented to exit from the relationship from the vendor? All right, is that documented, yes or no? All right, auditor should verify the evidence while the implementers need to ensure that all these questions are answered. All right, clause 9 is check. All right, the BTCA cycle, if you remember. All right, plan, do, check, act. So clause 4, 5, 6, and 7 is plan. Clause 8 is do. Clause 9, all right, is check. All right, clause 8, I mean, 8, then clause 9 is check. Clause 10 is act or improve. All right, great. So clause 9 is check, performance evaluation. So we have 9.1, monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. So this clause is just saying, are you tracking what you have implemented? Do you have KPIs on AI accuracy? Do you have KPIs on false positive? False positive is wrong decisions made by the AI. All right. So false positive is simply saying that, all right, is flagging is giving you a red flag. Yes, right, nothing is wrong. For example, flagging the transaction as suspicious and it's not. That's what we call a false positive. All right. All right. Do you have KPI for tracking model drift? Do you have KPIs for tracking the fairness of the AI, likelihood of bias, sustainability, incident rates? So you are the one that will determine the KPIs depending on the use case for which the AI is being adopted in the organization. But you need to show evidence that you have KPIs that are relevant to the environment and you are tracking them, you're evaluating the results, all right, regularly. All right, so this is what clause 9.1 is talking about. Clause 9.2 is talking about internal audits. Internal audits shall be conducted at planned intervals. So audits need to verify compliance, policy adherence, AI governance, risk management, documentation, and any other relevant audit area, all right, in the audit universe of the organization. Okay, then you have clause 9.3, management review. So management review too shall be done at planned intervals. So basically, the leadership of the organization are expected to discuss at planned intervals on on the effectiveness and efficiency of the AI management system. So you have what we call inputs to the management review. All right. For example, audit internal audit report will be presented. All right. KPIs from the clause 9.1, monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation. Results of KPI tracking will be presented. Complaints, all right, from stakeholders will be presented. All right. Uh, Complaints from regulators, all right, or concerns from regulators. All these are input to the management review, all right, and that should lead to output to the management review, which should be improvement, right? decisions, all right, updates to the AI management system, opportunities to be harnessed, and so on. All right, so management review should be documented. Minutes, the minutes of the management review, all right, should be retained as evidence that the management review was done. All right, so I have checklist here that is usable by implementers and auditors. So do we have KPI? AI KPIs established as clause 9.1, AI incident monitored 9.1, AI performance reviewed 9.1, is internal audit conducted 9.2, management review meetings held 9.3. All right, so with evidence, all right. Implementers need to ensure that these questions are answered. Auditors need to ensure that the answers are backed up by what ISO 18011 called objective evidence. Objective evidence. All right, clause 10 is improvement, like I said, mapped to act under PDCA. So continual improvement 10.1. So with the implementers need to show evidence that you are improving on your model, all right, you're improving on the governance structure or framework, you're improving on your documentation, all right, you're improving on your AI controls, you're improving on your training, you're improving on your awareness. So you need to have what we call continual improvement log or continual improvement register, if you will, to show evidence that you are not static. You are building on what has been initially implemented in the organization. All right. So for clause, then of course you have a clause. Okay, so you need to check whether AI incidents are investigated. Or let me pick, yes, root cause analysis performed, corrective actions are implemented, lessons learned are documented, continuous improvement are demonstrated. All right, so these are, questions that the implementers need to answer, and the auditors need to get objective evidence on. All right, then you have 10.2, non-conformity and corrective action. So we have what we call CAPA log, right? Corrective action, preventive action log, which the implementers are supposed to create to track all exceptions or non-conformity and their status, all right, as at the date of the audit. So when issues occur, we need to record the incident or non-conformity, investigate the root cause, implement corrective action, verify effectiveness of the corrective action, update the AI management system if necessary, all right, through the findings made during the implementation of the corrective action. So we need to have a CAPA log that is regularly updated as evidence. All right. So just like for the clause 10.2, we need to ensure that incidents are investigated, exceptions from auditors are all right, investigated and closed. Root cause analysis are performed, corrective actions are implemented, lessons learned are documented, continuous improvement are documented, and those are the evidence we need to provide for our clause 10. Okay, great. So that's clause 4 to 10. Like I said, you have the annexes, 4 of them. All right. Annex A is termed normative. All right. Annex B is normative, while Annex C and D are informative. All right. So Annex A, all right, is basically the 38 objectives, all right, which you are expected to look at line by line and decide if they are applicable to your organization. So you're expected to create what is called statement of applicability, just like you have in ISO 27001, to determine if any of the control are applicable to your organization or not. All right. If they are not applicable, if anyone is not applicable, fine. But you must give justification, all right, why they are not applicable. So you can't just decide or cherry pick, all right, the controls. So if you are not going to pick the control, you must tell us why you are not picking the control, why it's not relevant. Annex B is to flesh out the Annex A controls, all right. So just like you have 27,002, all right, fleshing out Annex A of 27,001, that's exactly what Annex B is doing, all right. So instead of creating Annex B in a separate standard, guidance standard. They actually included it with the 42,001. All right, so it's actually pick each control one by one and give you guidance on how to implement it. Annex C is informative, all right? So it's just basically for, it's just informational. So you have objective and resources associated with AI systems. So this can help you in your clause 6.2, and it can help you in your clause 6.1 risk assessment. 6.2 is AI objectives and plan to achieve. But 6.1 is on risk and opportunities. All right. It can also help you in your clause 8.2 and clause 8.3 when you are doing your risk assessment. All right. NSD is a sector specific guidance on applying the AI management system across different organizations. All right. So these are the annexes. A and B, like I said, are normative. C and D are informative. Okay. All right. Related standards to ISO 42001. Like I always say in ISO management system training, you cannot implement a standard on its own. It's not possible. So you make references to other standards. For example, ISO 42005. ISO 42005 is AI system impact assessment guidance, all right, on how to conduct AI system impact assessment. We mentioned it in clause 8, right, that you are expected to conduct AI system impact assessment. What is going to be the impact? So if you need guidance on that, you are not sure how to go about it, yeah, okay, ISO 42005 is your best bet, all right, on that. Know that it's not, it's not certified. You are not expected to get certified against for 2005. It's just to help you to be able to do your AI system impact assessment. All right. You also have ISO 42006. All right. Requirement for bodies providing audit and certification of artificial intelligence management systems. Now, this is not for everybody. All right. For 2006, not for everybody. But if you are an auditor, all right, you may just want to, you won't lose anything by getting a copy or reading it. But it's actually for certification bodies. All right. What qualifies you as a certification body is that you are accredited against ISO 17021 Part 1. That is like a flat foundational accreditation requirement. That's what makes you a certification, a management system certification body. All right. If you are a management system, if you are a certification body that you just want to focus on training and certification on people, all right, you will need ISO 17024. That's accreditation. So all those training organizations you see out there that can accredit you as a lead implementer, lead auditor, what actually qualifies them is that they have ISO 17024. All right. If you are a certification body that is focused on certifying products, all right. So you are looking at accreditation against ISO 17065. ISO 17065. That is it. Now, for organizations that want certifications, all right, like ISO 42001. So you need to check that the accreditation, the certification body now that want to certify you, they need to have ISO 17021 Part 1 baseline. All right. Now the second accreditation they will need is ISO 42006. So ISO 17021 Part 1 is first line. Second line accreditation they will need, the certification body will need is ISO 42006. So those are the twin accreditations, all right, that a certification body of management system will need. All right, so please take note of ISO 42006. All right, an entity that is a certification body can get certified against 42006 because that is their primary, all right, that's what qualifies them to be able to now audit organizations and business entities on 42001. Okay, great. Take note of that. All right, so that's 42006. is for certification bodies. All right, great. Then you have ISO 22989. We've come across this in the training. This is AI intelligence concept and terminology. You see that in clause 2 of ISO 42001. So basically, vocabulary, concepts of AI, you will see it in ISO 22989. You don't get certified against 22989. It's just basically to give us knowledge, understanding on AI vocabulary. All right, then you have ISO 38507. This is important for your class 5, leadership, governance implications of the use of AI by organizations. So if you want to really know, you need guidance on setting up a governance framework or a governance structure for AI, for your implementation of class 5, all right, of ISO 42001, you need to refer to ISO 38507 2022. You are not meant to get certified against it. It's just meant to guide you on leadership and governance of AI. All right. We also have ISO 23894, guidance on risk management. Wow. So this one cannot be overemphasized. Remember, you have a lot of risk assessment requirements in ISO 42001. I mentioned clause 6.1, clause 8.2, clause 8.3. They all talk about risk management. All right. Even though we have ISO 31000, which is generic on risk management, this 23894 specifically address guidance on AI risk management. So you don't get certified against 23894, but it can guide you on how to conduct AI risk management. Great. All right. So this is the structure of AI of ISO 23894. So you have the introduction, you have the scope, you have the normative reference, you have the terms and definitions, principles of AI risk management, all like you have in ISO 31000 clause 4, right? Then you have clause 5 framework, clause 6 risk management framework. Okay. Then you have the Annex A objective, all right? Annex B resources, Annex C risk management and AI system lifecycle. Then you have the bibliography. All right, I'm actually just noticing now that it's actually mapped against as 31,000. All right, it's basically the same, all right, structure actually. So clause 4 is principles of risk management. Just like you have in as 31,000, clause 5 is framework, all right. Clause 6 is risk management process. Exactly what you have, all right, in ISO 21000. Of course, now it's not adapted specifically, all right, to AI risk management, right? So if you want to carry out your risk assessment on your clause 6, clause 8, you need this, all right? Remember, you don't get certified against 23894. All right, interesting. We also have ISO, IEC, TR, Technical Report 24028, 2020, Artificial Intelligence Overview of Trustworthiness in AI. All right, so this is very important. How far can we trust an AI system? All right, I've seen some videos outside there of, robots misbehaving, robots kicking a boy in the stomach during a demo. All right, robots fighting in the office. All right, so so this and of course, if you use generative AI, you see sometimes you see AI hallucinations. All right, wrong output or wrong response to your query, and so on. So the AI safety issues are there. All right. So there is the good is there, the bad is there, the ugly is there. So these standards talk about, all right, guidance on trustworthiness of AI systems. So it talks about approaches to establishing trust in AI systems by establishing transparency, explainability, and controllability. All right. Talks about engineering pitfalls and typical treated threats and risks to AI systems, along with possible mitigation techniques and methods. Talks about approaches to assess and achieve availability, resilience, all right, reliability, accuracy, safety, security, and privacy of AI systems. So this is also not meant to be certified against. It's meant to guide us on the safe use of artificial intelligence. All right, you have ISO IC 23053 framework for artificial intelligence system using machine learning. So of course, machine learning is the foundation of AI. You have to train the machine, train the model, all right, for it to be able to be useful as an AI system. So you have ISO 23053 on that, provides a conceptual framework and shared technology for describing AI systems that use machine learning. All right, the standard is designed for both technical experts and non-specialists seeking to understand and explain machine learning systems in a structured, consistent way. All right, so it's also not meant to be certified against. It's a type B standard. It's meant for guidance. Okay. All right. So of course, you as part of the related materials you can use when you're understanding implementing ISO 42001. EUA Act, AI Act is also key. All right. So you can always, all right, this is the link to the EUA Act. You can always, it's available on the internet. It has 113 articles, which are basically the laws, all right, of the EU on AI. It's a very interesting law, all right. It's a very interesting act for EU, and it's basically like now the most popular law, all right, or act on EU on AI today globally. So you might want to also, as you are studying and preparing for implementing or auditing ISO 42001, this is a very good resource for you to check out. All right, and of course, America also have their own standard. So you have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, which was developed to define and promote trustworthiness in AI systems through a repeatable full lifecycle approach that organizations can use to unlock the benefits of AI. All right, while appropriately managing risks. All right, so this is American, NIST is American. All right, I just took a snapshot of the table of contents of that standard there. So you can see it starts with executive summary, it has part one, foundational information. Then chapter one is talking about framing risk. 1.1, understanding and addressing risks, impact, and harms. 1.2 is on challenges for AI risk management. Okay, then chapter 2 is talking about the audience of the standard. Chapter 3 is talking about AI risk and trustworthiness. All right, you can see valid and reliable, safe, secure, and resilient, accountable and transparent, explainable and interpretable, privacy enhanced, fair with harmful bias managed. Chapter 4 is talking about the effectiveness of the AI risk management framework. Then you have the part 2, which talks, it addresses core and profiles. So you have chapter 5 on AI risk management framework core. 5.1 is on govern, 5.2 is on map, 5.3 is on measure, 5.4 is on manage. Then chapter 6 is the AI risk management profile. And of course, it has appendices. All right. So this is a snapshot of what you have in the AI, the NIST AI risk management framework. It's available online, of course, it's free. It's available online. You can always search for it, all right, and download a copy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from anywhere you are watching this training video, once again, my name is Akinwale Akindia. I'm the lead consultant of Royal Way Consulting Limited. All right. We work on training. We are trainers. We are implementers of ISO management systems. We're into cybersecurity. We are also IS auditors and the management system auditors. So you can always reach out to me. All right. If you need any of our services, I hope this training has been beneficial to you. Thank you. See you in other training presentation that will send in this channel.